Today I'm going to be covering how you can utilize depth textures to improve your 3D water in games in Godot 4. What the depth texture does is it lets you look up how far behind your mesh something else is, and we can use that in our water shaders to find out when an object is just below the surface of the water and make the water look differently in that location. This continues on from my previous tutorial on 3D water. There is a link now for you to go and find that if you haven't followed it. That will cover using vertex displacement and scrolling noise to create some simple stylized water that you can see at the top here. So in order to see how our water intersects with other geometry, we're going to want to add other geometry for it to intersect with. So I've got a mesh that's made here from a K-kit tile that I can instantiate. But if you don't have meshes already made, you can just add a generic mesh instance 3D as well. So add a mesh instance 3D, set the mesh to whatever shape you want to see how it intersects. Let's try a sphere, and then you can fiddle with its scale and position and so on. But I'm just going to litter this scene with a few meshes so we can get a good look at what's going on when we are messing with our proximity detection. Okay, so now we have 3 meshes in our scene. I'm going to enter no distraction mode so that we can focus a lot more on the shader graph itself. So, all across the mesh, Godot has access to a depth texture, and that is a texture that stores how far every point on the screen is from our camera. So what we can do is within the mesh, we can find the position of each point on the mesh and the position of each mesh that's behind it and compare that distance. And that will give us a value that we can use to apply an effect. Godot has done all of that for us with the proximity fade node. If we go into our shader graph and we add a new node, we can add a proximity fade node. Proximity fade gives us a value between 0 and 1, where it gives us 0, where there is no distance between our mesh and the geometry behind it, and it gives us a value of 1 when we reach a maximum distance for this node. So at the moment, when we get 1 meter away from the water, we will get a value of 1. So if I plug that straight into the albedo output for our shader, we will see we get black values closer to 0 wherever the water is close to the surface, or there's a mesh very close underneath it and it's shallow. And we get much larger values, about 1, whenever the surface behind the water is a meter or further away. In order to take advantage of this, we want to turn this value into a mask. You usually use a mask as a texture that is black where we don't want to apply an effect and is more white where we want to apply an effect, which is the exact opposite of what we've got at the moment. We can turn this into a mask by taking our proximity fade value, dragging it into some empty space, and putting it into a 1 minus node. What that will do is it will give us a value of 1 and subtract our proximity fade original value from it. So we will get areas that are an inverse of what we've already got. So if I drag that into our albedo, we get something looking much closer to a mask. We get a value that is black wherever there is a more than 1 meter depth behind that point, and we get areas that are white where it's less than 1 meter depth behind that point on the mesh. So we have a mask indicating all of the areas of shallow water. You can use this to apply a variety of effects. We could combine it with the water we have at the moment and get a very simple but effective result. If I drag the 1 minus out into an add node, a vector 3 add node, and we add the previous water result in the B socket of that add node, and we drag that into our albedo, we will get our effect from before, but with all of these white masked areas added, which does a good job of indicating that the water is shallower, but it looks very uniform, and there's a lot we can do to make that look more interesting. What we could do is we could scroll noise in areas where this mask is, which looks quite nice and something I've done before. Or we can take an approach that's a lot more like how developers use signed distance fields to make ripples with their 3D water. What we can do is we can use a sine wave and how that has its peaks and troughs to create areas of white moving out from where the collisions are occurring to give a look like ripples are pulling away from the surface, which looks really nice. So in order to apply those ripples, we're going to need a sine wave. What we can do is we can take a sine function and we can plug the time summed with the distance fade value we currently have into that. So if we get the time, we drag the result of that into an add function. And then we plug our mask in the other slot. What this will give us is a value that changes sinusoidally. So we get our wave-like motion, but we get differing values as the water changes in depth. So we will be able to get ripples at different points along that changing depth. If I plug that into our output right now, we will see this sinusoidal changing motion, but we get a few things we don't want at the moment. So you can sort of see in the transition between it being white and black on the water surface, we get motion along as the color changes along the changing depth. The sine function gives us a value between +1 and -1. We don't want negative values here. We just want them to be positive. So what we can do is we can plug this sine function into an abs function. And abs gives us an absolute value, so any negative values are made positive. So instead of being a smooth slope up and down, we will get bumps in our waveform. But that should still give us the rippling motion we're looking for. So if we plug that out, we should get flashes, but we don't get our background changing black. But you can also very much see this black bar moving along, giving us a sort of ripply effect. So we're getting ripples along there, but the entire water is changing. We don't want to apply this effect anywhere where our mask isn't. We don't want to apply the ripple to the general water. So what we can do is we can reapply this proximity fade mask to the value we have at the moment by multiplying our current output by that proximity fade value. Because the proximity fade value is black in open water, we will get a value of 0 coming out of this when we're in open water. So let's plug the 1- into a multiply function. Let's plug the abs value into its other slot. And if we have a look at that result, we will see we just get our ripples moving along where the depth is less than 1 meter. If you pay close attention, you'll see that the ripple can make the very closest point where it's intersecting go dark as the sine wave moves across its surface. I think this looks better if you always get an area of white foam at the intersection. So we can reapply a minimum amount of foam at that intersection. And we're going to create that minimum amount of foam using that original mask we had earlier. If we take our mask and we plug it into a power function, we will get a value that is like the mask, but drops off quicker. So if I plug the result of that into our output albedo to preview it, and I set the power to 2, we get the mask, but it should drop off steeper. If I increase it to 4, it'll drop off even steeper, 8, even steeper. And if we go very high up to about 24, we will get a value that's effectively just a little bit of white fading out right where the intersection is occurring. And I think that looks quite good. So if we add that result on top of our previous output, now we will get our previous ripple motion, but the intersection will always have that white foamy minimum. So that's starting to look good, but the ripple's very slow, and there's only one moving every now and then. We need to do some things to change the rate of motion of that sinusoidal graph. The way we can do that is by multiplying the value that's going into the sine function. At the moment, about once a second, we're getting one full sine wave. If we multiply our value that's increasing by the time by a large number, say by 4, we will get 4 times as many peaks and troughs in the same amount of time. So if following this add function, I multiply the result with a multiply block, and I multiply it by 4, we should get many more peaks and troughs occurring per iteration of the function. So now we've got a lot more ripples moving. But along with that, you'll see that the ripples are moving a lot faster. We can control the speed at which the ripples move by multiplying the rate at which time is increasing. So all we do to apply that is we multiply time by a value. If we drag that out into a multiply add block, we can multiply the time by a smaller number before adding it onto our proximity fade. So if I multiply it by 0.5, now our time will increase half as quickly. And if I hook up our proximity fade value into the C slot, and then I replace the value in multiply with the new multiply add node rather than the straight up add node, now time is going to increase half as quickly, so our ripples will move at half the previous speed. The most convenient way to use masks is to use them in either mix or lerp functions. Because we get a value between 0 and 1, they're very effectively used as a weight in those functions. Because a mix or a lerp function, if I add a mix, what it does is it takes a weight, a value between 0 and 1, and if the value is 0, it will output the A property, and if it's 1, it will output the B property, and if it's between those values, it will produce a blend of the two. We want a vector 3 mix function here. We can plug our mask into the weight for that, and we can plug our old output color from the last shader into the A socket. So now, wherever the mask is black, where it's 0, we will get our old water with ripples displaying, and whenever our mask is white, we will get our alternative color coming out. And because this has pre-populated that alternative color to be 3 1s, it's going to set it to be white. So if I drag that into our albedo output, we will get our old ripple effect, we will get our old wave effect, but we will get our ripples rendering where they should be according to the mask. Now if I reapply that old emission property, we will get the full effect. We've got surfaces that are in the water, and they get ripples that draw down as the depth approaches 1 meter away from the surface. And if you want this to occur over a smaller distance, we can control that with the proximity fade distance property. If we set it to 0.5, now it will only occur over a 0.5 meter distance. And if we wanted to go much deeper, we could set it to say 4 meters, and we will get ripples going over the whole body of the water, the mesh that is dipping underwater. And you can take this proximity fade in many ways. One thing I did in Godot for beginners is I used this as a mask to then control noise drawing over the surface. As a result of that, you got funky noise shapes applying only where ripples were drawing over the surface of the water, which I thought was quite nice. You could alternatively not have ripples and just do the noise as is, or just do the flat colours. The key part is taking advantage of this proximity fade to utilise the distance of a surface behind the water. This is all going to be a public GitHub repository you can go and download whenever you want. If you want to learn more about Godot 4 and see more code I've written, you can check out my course Godot for Beginners, which has regular updates and just had one major overhaul to its decal scene, which was all pretty nice. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. See ya.